Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today we'll be taking a look at what is in this box. Now you can't actually see it, but on the top here it does actually say what this is. This is a Panasonic M7 VHS Camcorder. I got this a couple of months ago off eBay for about £40 and it's come with everything that it would have originally come with. Now this was so cheap because the person who was selling it didn't really know too much about it. They were selling it on behalf of their late father, which is a shame. But now I've got my hands on this, I will be doing some good things with it in the future. I have already had this out of its box and I have been playing around with it for a little while, but I thought today I would make a video about it. We're not going to be showing any of the video footage in this video. That will be for a different one in the future, but we can take a look around this thing and look at some of its functionality. And of course the first thing is this box. This is very sturdy, very heavy, and it's got Panasonic branding on it just there. It's got a nice handle on the top and you can actually lock it, which is quite cool. I do have the keys. There's also some more things that came with this which won't fit in the box. I've got them just down here. So I've got the keys, I've got the shoulder strap, and also an adapter so you can charge the thing in a car with that cigarette lighter adapter. I'm not going to try this in case it blows up my car, but I trust that this does work, and it's very nice to see that all this was included. So the first thing I'm going to do is just lay this thing down and we can just go ahead and open it. So I can just pull both of those to the side and there we go. That is it open. So I'm going to have to hold the top of the lid up because it will hit into my monitors. But in here we've got pretty much everything that would have come with this when it was new. I've been trying to look at how much this would have cost when it was new. I can't find an exact figure. I've seen someone saying about £1,000, another person saying 2,800, which is just absolutely crazy. So I have actually done a little bit more research to find out how much this would have cost, and I think it is closer to the £1,100 mark here in England. In other countries it may have been more, I'm not too sure, but I've seen a few people comment on YouTube videos saying that they bought it for around 1,100 at places like Dixon's, so that's the figure that I'm going to say this thing cost when it was new. So I'm going to take one thing out of the box at a time. First off, I will take the actual camcorder itself out. I'll just move it off to the side for now. We will come back to it soon. And down here we've got a couple of things. You've got this little adapter. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I guess we can try and find out. And we also have the power unit here. This is what is used to power the unit, and there is also a video output on it. We'll look closer yet again in a moment. I just want to get everything out of here to start with. It's kind of stuck in here, but that's not a problem. Out that comes, and that's everything from the bottom part of the box. Now let's take a look at what is in this part. So I've just moved it sideways. This is the bit we are going to look at, and on here we've actually got a label saying where everything goes and everything that should be included. I'll put an overlay of that on the screen. Now we can open up this section. It's held down with a press stud. We can open that, and in here we have the original battery. This thing is completely dead, which is understandable. This is from the 80s after all, and batteries don't really last too long. So here is that battery. Luckily you can still buy new third-party ones, so I may do that at some point. I can just leave that in here because we won't be needing that today. In here is a VHS tape. This is an Alba tape. I'm not sure if anything is on here. It would be a bit weird if there was, so I guess we can take a look at this because the camcorder can just do playback in black and white on its little viewfinder. I don't have the correct cables to connect this to my TV or anything, so we can't look at it on a big screen and in colour, but it'll be fine just to see if there's anything on here. It looks like it has nearly played through to the end, so I will actually keep that out just to take a look at. I've also got some of my own VHS tapes which we can try on here as well. Now we've got this final section here, and in here is something a little bit interesting. It appears to be a microphone. Here it is. It's just got a standard 3.5mm connector. Very nice metal construction. There is a model number on there. I have researched it a little bit, can't really find too much. I found someone was selling one of these for £100, another person for £6, so I don't really know what it's worth. And it also came with this, which appears to screw onto the end. I don't really know how any of this works, but I have tested the actual microphone on my main camera and it does work. So this seems to be some sort of extension for the microphone, which is kind of cool, and it came with an extension cable to plug it in, which is also pretty nice. I'm guessing this was bought by the previous owner to improve the sound quality of this thing. Okay, so I've now moved the box off to the side and put the camcorder itself on the desk. This thing is pretty dusty. I did give it a quick clean when I got it, but there's still a lot of bits which I need to do. Here it is, of course, M7 on the side. This is where the VHS tape goes in, and this thing is pretty big. That's my phone there, and look at the size compared to this. It's pretty crazy that this phone can record in 8K and this thing can record nowhere near that. That is pretty cool to think about. So there's quite a lot to look at on here. Considering how old this is, it does have a lot of features, but then again it was a rather expensive piece of kit. First of all, just put the viewfinder out because that helps it look a little bit more beastie. So first up, looking at the right side, this is where the tape goes into here. The microphone is on the front. This is not the original foam around it. On all these old things, it just deteriorates and falls off. There's bits of it still left, but that's not in the best of condition, so they fashioned this little one to go around it. I don't know if the microphone on here works or not because I've not been able to record anything on it quite yet, so that's something that we can see in another video in the future. Below that, we can actually plug in the external microphone just there, so I'm guessing that's how it was used with this. And we've also got a switch to change the microphone level. It was set on to high, so I will just leave it like that. Below there, that is where the viewfinder is plugged in, and if we unplug that, we can then plug in a character generator. I don't have one, but I've seen some on eBay for pretty cheap, so at some point I might buy one of those, and it just plugs in just there. For now, I will plug the viewfinder back in because we will need it a little bit later. Now, since this is such a massive heavy piece of equipment, you're meant to put it on your shoulder and then put your hand through here. So this is where we hold it. It's still got its original strap on here, branded Panasonic. It is starting to crack, so I don't really want to touch that too much. On the top of there, we've got our zoom buttons. We can also manually zoom, but these can be used as well, and I'm guessing that red button at the end can be used to record for when you're holding it like this, and you can just then press the record button instead of having to press one on the other side. So I think that is pretty much that size. Let's take a look at the front. Now, I don't actually know too many specifications about this piece of equipment, so I can't really talk too much about that, but in there is the lens, and on the front here it says we have auto white balance, which is pretty cool. And this lens on here is a TV zoom lens, and it is 9 to 54 millimeters, or at least that's what it says on the top. On the other side here, this is where most of our controls are. So starting off on the lens, we can move this along just here. If we press in the green button, it will go into the macro area, which is pretty nice to see. When I turned this on last time, the lens started spinning and going wah, 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 so it does all seem to work just fine. Next up is our buttons. We've got backlight, fade, we've got a standby button here. Here we can change our focus from auto to manual. We've also got zone select and push auto there. Here we can change our white balance. Right now the white balance is set to auto, but we can put that down to indoor, and we can also put it up to outdoor. Right now we are indoor, so I could probably put it down to that, but I think for now it's better if we just leave that on auto. Below that is the date/clock. I'm guessing it doesn't know the date. I don't even know if it will go up to 2021. And then here we've got a button for high shutter speed and below record review. I'm not really sure what that does. Next up, moving along, it is mentioning its autofocus, and we've also got more branding. Panasonic HQ flying erase head/variable high speed shutter. Pretty cool. Now here is our viewfinder. I'm pretty sure this is a little CRT in here, and it actually has the screen on this bit here, and then it uses a mirror to direct it into eyesight, so that is pretty nice. This is only a little black and white one, but that serves its purpose absolutely fine. You can adjust it around like that, and you can also use the little dial on the bottom to bring it closer or move it further away depending on your eyesight or preference. This is all pretty mucky, so I will have to give it a thorough cleaning at some point. But now let's take a look at what we've got on the top. Alright, so here is the top of the camcorder. I've put it on its side just to make this a little bit easier. Here is our operate button. We slide it and then it turns on, then slide it again and it will go off. We've also got the eject button here to eject the VHS. This is electrical, not mechanical, so if that button breaks, the VHS is probably going to get stuck inside there. Now we can also lift this little flap here and we get a couple more buttons. So these buttons can reset. There's memory, display, shift, set and tracking, all for different things like the counter, display, date and clock. I quite like that little cover on there. It's good to see that it hasn't snapped off, and overall it doesn't look like this was really used much. It's in pretty good condition, but then again, if you had spent so much money on one of these, I would probably look after it quite well as well. Now here we can slide this and we get more buttons. Here we've got record, rewind, play, fast forward. These are used for playback, so we will need these when we test a VHS in it. That's pretty much all there is to look at on this thing. So I'm now going to plug it in, then we can turn it on, we can have a look and see what it sees through the lens, and then we can try playing back some tapes in it. So I thought I would keep filming just to show the process of plugging everything in. Now of course if it had a battery that worked we wouldn't have to do this, but we don't have a working battery, so we do have to do this. And of course I haven't shown you this yet. This is the video AC adapter. So on here we can change it from standby to operate, and also change from TV to VTR, and we've also got a charging port on the front there, of course made in Japan, being Panasonic. And on the back we've got RF in, RF out, and also AC in and VTR just there. So what I'm going to do is just put the AC unit down here. It can just go off to the side a little bit. Now I'm going to have to plug the power cable in. Luckily I've got a plug just below me, and this will go into the camera. So I'll put that off to the side and I'll plug this in a moment. I'll just put it on the floor for now. So let's bring back the camera, and here is the back. I actually haven't shown this. That's where our battery goes in. There's no point really putting that in since it doesn't work. Of course, made in Japan, that's where we plug in the adapter. up here we can plug in a remote as well. I believe this would have originally come with a remote, but unfortunately I don't have it, but I might see if I can find one online at some point. So that is now plugged in so it can get power when I turn it on at the wall. Okay, so I think that's everything I need to do. I am now going to plug in the adapter. That should now be receiving power. So if I get the unit here, we need to turn the power on. Also, we've got video out and audio out here. I will be using the audio out to try and get audio from these VHSs. Let's turn on the power. I just heard something inside the unit. Now on the front here, we can turn standby on to operate. We've now got a red light and we should be able to turn the camcorder on. Okay, the operate button is of course on the top for now. I will close that so we should be able to see what the lens sees through there. I'll also take the lens cap off now as well. So let's turn it on. And I can see something loading on the little display in there. Okay, so I've managed to get a close-up on what the viewfinder can see. I've had to put my shutter speed down to stop the flickering of the CRT, but hopefully that is fine, and hopefully you can actually see what is going on in there. Of course it is only black and white, although on the camera it does kind of look a bluish green. So right now autofocus is on, but I should be able to manually zoom, so let's see if that works. Yes, it does indeed, and I can hear it trying to focus there. Let's see if it can focus on the glue stick that's on my desk. I can hear it trying, but I think it's too close. Let's see if it can do it now. So it doesn't seem to want to focus on this, but I'm guessing it will do better if I was actually recording. So I'm now going to switch it onto manual focus, and I'm going to try and focus it myself. So that is defocusing it. Let's try and focus it a little bit. This is very difficult to see. I will zoom it out a bit. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing too much, and it is all quite difficult, but as you can see it is working just fine. It can see everything that is going on. I'll put it back onto auto, and I will just move the camera down so you can see the lens, so then you can see what it's actually doing. So this is the lens. Autofocus is on again, so when I put something close to it you can see it moving there trying to focus. And this is of course the zoom here. It's all done internally, and now it's trying to refocus. And of course I can put it onto macro as well. So this is all pretty cool. I'll unzoom it again, and if I put it onto manual focus I can simply move this to focus it how I want, but I'll put it back onto auto for now. Okay, so now we've done that, I think it's time to test playback. So this is the VHS that was included with it. I've got no clue if anything is on here. I have checked, the tape isn't dirty, so I am happy to put this in. I'll press the eject button. There we go, that has opened, and everything in there looks very complicated indeed. I will just show you. So there's the inside of this. I can tell why cameras and camcorders of today are smaller, because it doesn't require any of that. Everything just records to a card. That is pretty amazing to say. I wouldn't really want to try and fix that if something went wrong though. Alright, so now let's put it in. I'm pretty sure I know which way it goes, so I'm just going to slot it in. In it goes. It seems to have locked in. Let's shut that. I can hear it doing something. So I'm going to turn it around again so we can look through the viewfinder. And first off I'm going to open up the controls at the top, and that should let us go into playback mode. Okay, so I've got another close-up of the viewfinder. The tape is in. I'm going to just click play and see what happens. It's spinning, I can hear that. And wow, there is something on this tape. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but there's definitely something on here. Is that a school play of some sort? I think it might be. That's kind of weird. I'm not too sure I should be filming this. I'm not too sure I should even have this at all. I don't know who any of those people are. I don't know what year this is from. That is pretty amazing. Wow. Okay, so I've just stopped and plugged in my speakers through the audio output. There's now wires running across my room going to the speakers. But let's see if there is any audio on here. I can hear audio. I'm not sure if the microphone will pick that up. So there we go, there is audio on here. I'm not sure how long this is. I can try fast forwarding, but I don't really want to break the tape. So I think I'm going to stop this one, put in one of my own. Well, they're not my own, they are my grandparents', but I've been allowed to borrow them, and then we will see if those ones work too. Alright, so I've just put in another tape. Let's play this and see what happens. Ah, this is an advert. Interesting, so I'm guessing this is a recording from the television.
Just like a handsaw, but with less effort. Cutting easily and precisely, with a push-button blade change system that lets you move on to the next job in no time. Whatever the job, the Scorpion Power Saw, the smarter way to saw, only from Black & Decker.
Wow, this is interesting. I've got no clue what year this is from, but that audio sounds good. Actually, there was a date at the bottom there. The date on that was from November 2001, so I'm guessing it's some point after there. And this is a recording of ITV1. That is very cool indeed. I don't really need to watch any more of this. It seems to be working, and this machine seems to be playing it back absolutely fine. So let's now stop that. I've got some other tapes, but they are all of birthdays and things like that, so I can't really play those and show it on the internet without permission. I don't have permission, so I can't do that, but that is very cool. So that is that. I'm not really sure what else there is to show you about this. I can't record anything with it today because I don't have any blank tapes or any way to then show you the footage, but that will be something we do in another video. But for now, I'm just going to turn it off, put it to standby on the adapter, and turn the power off to that as well. So that will be where we will leave it for today. I'm very happy with this cool thing. I've wanted one for a number of years, and I finally found one that was working at a pretty good price. Most which are on eBay are pretty cheap, are not working or untested, but this one seems to work absolutely fine. So yeah, very happy with it, and you will see it again in the future at some point. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it and you would like to see more content on this in the future, please do give this video a like and please do subscribe. But apart from that, that will now be the end. Thank you very much and goodbye.